Good morning, sir.
জানি আমার স্ক্রিন দেখা যাচ্ছে।
Good morning.
দেখা যাচ্ছে?
হ্যাঁ।
Hello. Good morning, sir. Sir, একটা মিটিং চলছে বলে স্যার।
আমি
Welcome,
ওখান
sir.
থেকেই খুললাম।
Welcome, sir. স্যার আমি একটা মিটিং এ আছি বলে আমাদের ডিপার্টমেন্টে সবাই আছে এখানে। আমি কমলিকা ম্যাডামকে রিকোয়েস্ট করেছি টু কন্ডাক্ট। I will join after the session is over.
সাউন্ড শোনা যাচ্ছে তো?
হ্যালো, পল্লব সবাই শুনতে পেয়েছো? সবাই আছো?
হ্যাঁ ম্যাডাম।
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে, তাহলে আমি
Can you hear me? Hello? Hello, can you hear me? I think we will bring to the normal. Okay. You sure? You sure?
Hello.
Hello.
সেটাও আছে।
পল্লব আমি এসে গেছি। পল্লব
হ্যাঁ ম্যাডাম বলুন।
হ্যাঁ বলছি আমি কিন্তু আজকে স্যারকে ইন্ট্রোডিউস করব, ঠিক আছে?
ঠিক আছে।
বলছি হ্যালো, যদি ইকো হয় না আমি বেরিয়ে যাচ্ছি। হ্যাঁ, আমার মিটিংটা চলছে তো। আই এম লিভিং। ইকো হচ্ছে মনে হচ্ছে। ওকে,
ঠিক আছে ম্যাডাম, আপনি এখানে থাকুন না ম্যাডাম।
হ্যালো, ইকো হচ্ছে। আই এম লিভিং। ওকে, কমলিকা ম্যাডাম উইল কন্টাক্ট দ্য মিটিং, কন্টাক্ট দ্য সেশন। ওকে,
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে ম্যাডাম।
ওকে ওকে।
Can you hear me?
Yes sir.
Okay.
Yes sir.
Okay. Because initially that the speaker was giving some trouble, and that's why again I disconnected and rejoined. Fine.
পল্লব কখন শুরু করবো একটু বলো।
হ্যাঁ ম্যাডাম,
ইকো হচ্ছে এখনো ইকো হচ্ছে।
That's the problem with the Google Meet, because more number of audio disturbance.
ওকে আমি স্টার্ট করছি। ওকে, ক্যান আই স্টার্ট?
Can I start now?
Mute your audio.
Video and audio. Both are on video, yeah.
Okay sir, I am starting. Okay.
Uh,
A very good morning to all the participants. Today, we are on the last day of the online faculty development program on research and technical challenges in energy and power system. We are privileged to have renowned Professor Dr. Chandan Kumar Chando with us today for the session. Dr. C.K. Chando is working as a professor in the Department of Electrical Engineering, IIEST Shibpur, India. He has earned PhD degree from the Department of Electrical Engineering, BE College, Shibpur, India, with specialization in power system. Dr. C.K. Chando has over 31 years of teaching and research experience in the diverse field of power system engineering and 4 years experience in industry. His areas of interest include smart grid, resiliency, stability, and renewable energy. He is a recipient of Tata Rao Gold Medal. He is actively involved in various research projects funded by centrally funded organizations like DST, UGC. He has published 135 research articles in reputed national and international journals and conferences, including 42 research papers in SCI Index journals. He is a member of the editorial board and guest editor of numerous reputed journals. He has authored and co-authored 4 books in reputed publishing houses like McGraw-Hill, PHI, etc. He has contributed 5 book chapters in international proceedings. 10 research scholars have got their PhD under the supervision of Dr. Chandu. Currently, 9 students are pursuing research under him. More than 25 PhD theses have been evaluated by him. So, with these few words, I would like to invite Sir to share his valuable talk with us for the session. So, thank you, sir. We are privileged to have. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, and good morning to all of you. Good morning. So, without wasting time, let me go to the presentation directly. But before that, let me know how can I go for 1 hour or 50 minutes. Then accordingly, I will plan my schedule accordingly.
Sir, 1 hour 15 minutes you can go. 1 hour 15 minutes.
Okay, fine. Accordingly, I will skip my slides and I will try to conclude my presentation within that time. Fine. Okay. So let me go to that regulation and then go to that side. This is the beginning. Yeah, I'm coming. No, the beginning slide. Yeah. So let me start with the basic features of the. Can you see the slides? I'm sharing the slides now. Is it okay? Hello?
Yes, sir. We can see, sir.
Fine. Okay. So check this slide. Okay. So let me tell you topics to be briefly discussed. That again, skip it. This is not required. How does electricity reach us? This is not also important to us. We all of us know it. So let us go to the next slide. Let me check it. Yeah. So let me tell you here from this slide. I want to tell you we have entered an evolutionary area in power sector. What does it mean? Nowadays, in fact, we do not work power system in an in a regulated mode. Rather, we have introduced the deregulation. So let me explain you in a brief what does it mean. What we mean by the terminology deregulation. Deregulation means some kind of competitions we have to incorporate within the power system. And to illustrate this idea, I can give you two or three burning examples. You can bring a lot of examples or instances regarding this deregulation, what we are facing or observing since 1990. So deregulation is again a very important aspect in our power system. If I can talk about deregulation in other sectors, then that will enforce our idea about the deregulation in power system. And let me tell you, as far as the deregulation of power system is concerned, not the power system engineers, not the electrical engineers have started this venture, rather an economist. He has started this venture and he thought how to introduce this deregulation in a power sector, and then only the power system people took this concept and is now applying deregulations. Now let me tell you what is deregulation. After that, we'll go to forecasting. That is my basic idea, and I'll tell you in details. Deregulation will be clear if I give an example rather than the definition of deregulation. deregulation sometimes is a misleading terminology. Deregulation, it does not mean there will be no regulation. It will be highly regulated than earlier systems. So what is deregulation? Let me come to the aviation sector. In aviation sector in 1995, if I can give an example, only the diplomatic people, the minister, the senior most IAS officer, they used to fly. In 1995, we teachers from Bengal Engineering College cannot think of how to fly, how to go to Bombay IIT by flight. It was impossible. But 2019, last year, I had been in Bombay IIT to take PhD Viva Bose, and from there, I was able to get the idea about deregulation. My fellow passenger was a carpenter. So a carpenter can enjoy flight today also. I'm not talking during this pandemic area situation, not under this extraordinary situation. Now the price of the flight has gone very high because they're not getting the passengers. But earlier, about 3 or 4 months back, anyone can enjoy. And the answer of these questions in the aviation sector is nothing but deregulation. And deregulation is nothing but competition. We have entered the word competition into the market. That's all. Similarly, we have seen in the entertaining sector also. As a Bengali, if you go to a TV, at least I can get 55, 60 channels in Bengali. There are a lot of news channels, a lot of entertaining channels, a lot of astrologer channels. There are thousands and thousands, and we cannot stick to a particular channel for a second. We can switch. But we cannot think, but you cannot think of in 1984, 85. That time we are young and we are satisfied only one channel during that time. Proud Bengal, only one channel, that is Radio Bangla. We cannot change the channel because the competition has come. So these are the things in entertaining sector, in aviation sector, in energy sectors, why the people from the court system will lag behind. So we have introduced deregulation. So deregulation, the impact of deregulation is this: the government public service will be transformed to government and private economic activity. The way aviation sector, there is a government regulation is there that you know probably, AIIA probably, and the government also play, Air India plays an important role. It's not that Indigo is operating or taking the whole market of aviation. Similarly, our government public service will be transferred to government and private becomes a monopoly, then it is a difficult issue. If there is no competition but privatization is there, that is much more dangerous than the government public service. And sometimes it is happening around. I'm not going to name those companies, but it is happening around. There is a privatization, there is a deregulation, but companies, only one company is there, and there is no competition. Whatever they will provide, we have to accept it. And some kind of deregulation, what we don't want is happening. But let me come to the real definitions of deregulation. In deregulation, we have a new challenges. It is not a private sector. Whatever we will give to the consumers, they will eat it. It's not that. We will give you the whole day. We can give the power in the evening. We cannot give the power in the evening. Whatever we will charge, there are a lot of subsidizations will be there. That kind of thing will not be there in the deregulation. So sustainability is a very important question nowadays under this competitive world. If you can give something, if you can perform something, then it will be sustainable. Otherwise, you have to go from the scenery. That's all. And once you want to become sustainable in the situation, whether in the form of energy field or power system field or any field, education field, whatever it may be, the system should be reliable. So next, it comes to reliability. And once it is become reliable means, let me give a small example from our power sector. I am giving you reliable power, no doubt, but the efficiency is very, very poor. So it does not carry any sense. So reliability is there, and reliability is directly coupled to the word efficiency the moment you talk about deregulation. And then again, efficiency, once you can improve the efficiency, and from the basic definition of efficiency, once you can improve the efficiency means losses you have reduced. Once you can reduce the losses of energy, you can go for cost minimization. And in fact, one topic is there in engineering that is called the economic operation or economic load dispatch. Sometimes because of the penetration of renewable energy, this is known as emission-based economic load dispatch. And nowadays, We are operating the power system in market-based mode. So another new terminology has come in last 2 or 3 years. I am hearing these terms from the experts of the power system: market-based economic load dispatch. Market-based. It is not electrical engineering or energy-based load dispatch. It is not simple ELD. It is not simple WELD, emission and economic load dispatch. It is market-based emission electrical load dispatch we are talking about for last 2 to 3 years. So these are the aspects will be coming under these challenges. So these are the challenges you have to face. And who has helped is deregulation. In fact, hopefully you know, a lot of students and faculty have joined this program, participated. Electricity Act 2003 has come into force in our country. I'm talking from India's perspective. Because in 2003, there's a paradigm shift in the electricity rules. Before 2003, even though the globalization process has started in 90 or 1991, but the Electricity Act changed. From 2003, if I'm not wrong, from the month of March or April, the thing has come into force, and there is a paradigm shift in Electricity Act. What that act means? Act means delicensing of generation. Earlier, we had a vertical integrated system. Generation, transmission, and distribution, everything in one capsule. Everything in one basket. And if there is a loss in the transmission side, those transmission people are least care. Maybe the blame or the thing, what should I say, rather the blame will go to the generation people because you are not able to generate properly. That's why the losses are low. So these are the things they are used to during when the system was in the licensing mode. But during delicensing of generation, and the moment delicensing of generation came, the freedom for captive power plants came. You can start your own generation. You cannot take power from the CSC if you are having your own generation. If you are having a sufficient captive generation from your rooftop solar, you need not. Or you can use that rooftop power during the peak saving hour. Because within 1 or 2 years, I am telling you, this private organization will go for that kind of tariff that is a market-based tariff. Is not the tariff will be uniform throughout the day, 24 hours. Maybe the tariff of the power from 12 o'clock to 4 o'clock, where we consume more power, that is called the peak demand time, the power price will be more. And when the power price will be more and you want to operate the AC machines during May and June, you can use your own power using inverters. So freedom from captive power plants come because of this Electricity Act. And in fact, in Calcutta, a lot of people are doing, I have heard it. Trading is defined as a distinct activity. Now, trading defined it as distinct activity means what I mean, the tariff of the power should not be uniform throughout the day for 24 hours. So throughout, same for nowadays, the way we calculate the power for this much slab, say 50 unit this much, 51 to 200, it should not be like that. It will be time dependent parameter also. The slab dependent as well as the time dependent as well as the load dependent parameter. Why I am talking about the load dependent? Nowadays, let me tell you regarding this deregulation aspect, nowadays you have given huge focus to the demand side management. Why? Because demand side management is one important issue, and in fact one research area we can talk about it. You can go in that direction because you have to think the demand side because of this distinct activity. The trading defined will be a distinct activity. If the price of the power from 12 o'clock to 4 o'clock becomes high, it's just like that. As an engineer, it's just like that. You cannot consume power from CSC or from other organization. You have to think otherwise. So you have to think how to control your demand, how to diversify your demand factors. What is known as diversity factor, that you have to think. And the moment you will go for demand side management, the most important thing comes, even though these are not there in the slides, the power quality. Nowadays, you are very, very cautious about the power quality. When will be defined in terms of customer rather than consumer, because in government sector we are known as consumers. In a private mode, we are customers. When you will treat yourself as a customer, and the moment you will take power, you are very cautious about the reliability of the power. You are very cautious about the quality of the power. And quality of the power means major activities is the voltage profile, the current profile, and the frequency profile. These are the three important issues which comes in our mind. So let me forget about the frequency profile. Frequency profile I'll come, obviously. Frequency profile I'll come. Hello. No, take this. So sorry for the interruptions, man came. So anyway, so the point is this, so the power quality, in case of a power quality, you know, nowadays, because of advanced technology available for power electronics, we know the power electronic devices are nothing but fast acting controllable switches. And once you can define these power electronic devices, inverter or kind of converters are kind of nothing but the fast acting switches, the questions of power quality comes. Whenever you go for any kind of switching, some kind of transients comes, and that deteriorates the quality of the power. So in other way around, the power electronic devices are very good. Without those devices, we cannot live now, because we can go for a better accuracy of the speed and other control. But at the same time, those power electronic devices are polluting the power also. And that power is feeding to the grid. So what happens, in the following slides, the next slides I'll show how we have to maintain the grid discipline nowadays. We are throwing the polluting power to the grid, and as far as the voltage profile and the current profile and the frequency profile is concerned, we are disturbing them. And from that voltage profile or current profile, the question of harmonics comes, and that is another important issue in the power quality nowadays. And once harmonic comes, you know, all the even harmonics get nullified, but all the odd harmonics will be present. And if at all we think up to the 25th order harmonics, then obviously the THD and TDD comes in the scenario. The total demand factor or the total harmonic distortion or total demand distortion comes into the picture. And again, for those things, we want to compensate for all these things. Again, we need some kind of filters, active filters, passive filters. Passive filters are not that way efficient. 1/4 efficiency of the active filter, but price is very, very less. Active filter is very, very fast, very good in efficiency. Price is 4 times of the passive filter. So I've gone for the hybrid filters. So a lot of issues are coming nowadays to control this. And because of everything is coming, because of this Electricity Act 2003, before 2003, least bother about power quality, we least bother about the total harmonic distortion, the least bother about total demand distortion, the least bother about reliability, least bother about the congestions management. All these things are not there. So this is the trading defined as a distinct activity nowadays. Very important issue. The next, in fact, this point should come in the beginning: unbundling of erstwhile monolithic state electricity boards into separate corporations responsible for generation, transmission, and distribution. Next is non-discriminatory open access in transmission. In fact, let me tell you regarding this aspect, Rourkela is the first state which conveyed this idea to the other power engineers of India: non-discriminatory open access in transmission to avoid the congestions. Congestion management is a very, very important issue. And one of my students who joined here, Dr. Vishaljit Pal, has done regarding this open economy and open access transmission there. So transmission as now licensed activity. Procurement of power through competitive basis. You have to purchase the power on a competitive basis, even though it is not there in our country. These are all in theoretical or in the presentations mode only. So what are the major power system problems? The major power system problem that we know, the financial constraint, and that constraint is everywhere. Not I'm talking from the power system point of view. This financial constraint in the educational sector, if you want to purchase something, a lot of formalities and financial constraint. Non-uniform load density, that is there in our country, because our country is very, very large. The load density of Kanpur is not equivalent to the load density of Mughal Sarai area, because the country is very, very large. and we do not have the industry in uniform distance. So non-uniform load density is very, very big issue in our country. Limited resource utilization. We are having a huge amount of resources we cannot utilize properly. Limited number of UHV lines, extra high voltage lines are limited in our country. That is again because of the first point, financial constraint. Lack of grid discipline. I am coming to the grid discipline. Limited power margin. Power margins are very, very less. We operate the power system in the tune of 80, 85 degree instead of 35, 40 degree. You know the power transmission expression. P is equal to V by X sine delta. Delta is the power angle. The delta angle is supposed to be in the tune of 35 to 40 degree. But unfortunately, we operate in the 80, 82 degree. Only 90 degree is the maximum power limit. So maximum, we are having 7 to 8 degree flexibility. That is very unfortunate in our country. Inadequate power supply is inadequate. So that is another important issue. Low capability utilization of nuclear and non-conventional energy. That is another. If we add non-conventional energy, not the conventional energy, we can reduce the price. Because if we add solar energy, either in the form of photovoltaic, mostly we add in the term of photovoltaic, or either in the form of thermal, or if we add wind energy, either the wind or the sun will never come to us and demand the money from them. They have utilized me and pay some money for this. That sun will never tell us. So if we add non-conventional energy, price will definitely, we can reduce or it will become low. Poor quality of supply, I mean the low voltage profile, bad frequency profile, and frequent load shedding. But this term is not, nowadays it is not there, because you do not go for, nowadays you do not go for frequent load shedding. So this will not be there. But the low voltage profile, the bad frequency profile, these are very important issues. And to cover all these issues, in fact, we brought the 2003 Electricity Act and the paradigm shift in our system. But anyway, this is a typical, these things, typical electricity distribution system in Indian cities. This kind of diagram, in fact, we have seen during this Amphan storm and in Calcutta area. Once the problem took place in Calcutta, they took 4 or 5 days in few places of Calcutta to restore the power, because our power distribution system is like that. And this picture, in fact, I came in some group of my WhatsApp group from my friends. This is the scenario of the distribution sector in our country. So imagine, this is the sector. If anything goes wrong, how the people will rectify this kind of system within a minute or within a day. So this is a practical system I am showing you. Now the power system control hierarchy, there are 2 types of control. One is the manual. We never now go for the manual, rather the computer control. And this computer control has finally brought our grid. Probably you know grid and the characteristics of the grid, that because of the availability of the computer, because of the availability of the information, and because of the availability of the power system, we have come to a new idea, that is a smart grid. Smart grid is nothing, the power system should be there. It is not that smart grid means everything will become a smart, no power, no voltage, no frequency, no alternator, no transformer, nothing will be there, only computer and information. No, our setup will be there. That should be within the heart. That is important. And at the same time, we'll go with the computer, we'll go with the smart sensor, we'll go with the smart information, we'll club together and we'll go for a smart grid. But I am not going to cover the smart grid, but this is all about the smart grid, keeping our power system inside the heart. If you take the control with the help of a computer and information, smart information and smart sensor, if we club together, we combine together, we can make the grid little smarter compared to the traditional. And that grid will be a little bit resilient. Now we are all talking about this resiliency. Resiliency is very important. You see, last about a month back, what we faced in our state, especially in Howrah and Calcutta, Amphan, our system is not resilient. And in every day, whenever you used to open the TV channels in different, that I told you, deregulation, that a lot of Bengali news channels, they used to focus what is the power status. And you see what we have faced in Howrah and the Calcutta side. The diabetic patient, the patients from the cancer side, cancer patient, they do not have the power. They have to keep their medicines inside the fridge. Those medicines can sustain only in the fridge. Power is not there for 4 or 5 days. All medicines got lost. So a lot of issues are there because our system is not resilient. If anything happens for 1 hour and 1.5 hours in our state, we simply go without power for 4 or 5 days. So that can be done with the help of the smart grid a little bit. India's installed capacity, Hopefully the other speakers have covered all these things. These are all statistical data. I'm not going into statistical data, you will not enjoy. These are the different kind of grids in our country: 5 grid, northern grid, northeastern grid, eastern grid, western grid. And earlier, let me tell you, southern grid was not there, but if I'm not wrong, 3 years back, we have connected southern grid to other rest 4 grids, altogether 5 grids. And now in our country, one prime minister, one president, and one frequency, that is 50 hertz. So you operate the whole India in one frequency, that is 50 hertz. So I'm not going into all these details. Might be other speakers have talked about this in details. The projected power scenario in 2017, 2027, 20, these are the peak demand. We are always bothered about the peak demand. We are not bothered about the base demand or some average. We deploy a power system, we develop a power system, we always design on the basis of peak demand as well as some future expansions capacity. So in 2027, the anticipated peak demand will be like this, and installed capacity requirement will be like this if finance permits. So our power system every 5-year plan. So this is okay. Now the grid discipline. Let me talk you about the grid discipline. That is very, very important. What is grid discipline? Actually, I have not come to my major topic, the solar forecasting a little bit. I'll talk about this. Why grid discipline is required? Grid discipline is required because of this one important aspect is deregulation. That's why I brought this introductory idea about the deregulation, because deregulation means, apart from other factors, the most important factor is this: we have to reduce the price of the power, because we have to make this power available to the customer at the cheapest affordable price. Otherwise, the customers or consumers they will go with some kind of agitation, andolon, cholche na cholbe na, that kind of thing will come. So we have to make this power available to the customers at the cheapest affordable price. And one way of doing it, we can control, we can bring the smart grid, we can bring the resiliency, we can go for the demand side management. A lot of things are there nowadays. A lot of buzzwords are available in power system today. But the most important thing, the tariff of the power generally determined by the fuel. That is the major contribution. Whether the fuel is conventional type or the non-conventional type. If the fuel is conventional type and diminishing in nature, the price will go up. Because from simple economics theory, if the demand is more, availability is less, price will automatically go up, and the electricity people, those who are generating, they will charge you more. As far as the conventional part is concerned. As far as the non-conventional part is concerned, the fuel is absolutely free. Sun is absolutely free, as much as you can take from him. Wind is absolutely free, if it is available. But the disadvantage of this, the sun is highly uncertain. Uncertainty is there within this. The thing is that you cannot control the sun's power. I do not want the solar energy now, so I do not want to put the sun up now. Or I cannot bring the cloud artificially in the sky. I don't want solar energy now. Then it will be excess, and once power will become excess, the frequency will go up in the grid. It's not that. We cannot control this side, but rather we can control the conventional fuel. We can control the injection, we can control the steam, we can control the coal input, we can control the hydraulic power plant water input. These are the things we can control with the help of the smart technologies. But this we cannot. No technology available which can control the sun's energy, solar energy. So the thing is this, under this criteria, we have to have some grid discipline. This is known as Indian Electricity Grid Code 2010, and it is effective from 3rd May 2010. But the point is that the difficulty is this: in our country, lot of code, lot of discipline, lot of regulations are there, but by our Indian habits, we do not want to follow it. Let it be there in pen and paper, in presentations mode. Who is going to follow this code? And it happened, if I'm not wrong, 2012 or 2013, 31st July and 30th July, sites are there. I'll show you the huge and disastrous blackout was here in the northern part of India, because we violated grid code. Even though there is electricity grid code, we simply violated it. And we suffer for 1.5 days and 2 days. So what is this electricity grid code? Let me define you. It determines the responsibility and defines the relationship between the various users of the interstate transmission system, ISTS, national load dispatch center NLDC, regional and state load dispatch center RLDC and SLDC. Imagine, in our country, ISTS, NLDC, RLDC and SLDC, they are all involved. And their responsibility is like this. This is their key responsibility. Optimal power scheduling, they have to define how much power next day they require. Power system security is very important aspect. The time is limited. I am not able to cover the security aspect nowadays. You are talking about security. This is a very important aspect nowadays. Outage planning is very important nowadays also. Otherwise, you cannot go for the grid discipline and develop renewable sources. We have to develop renewable sources. Regarding this fourth point, let me add one or two sentences. The point is this: developing renewable sources, let me tell you, is not a big aspect nowadays. The only problem from my side I can tell you the mindset. This is not I think the rocket science. Renewable energy, taking the sun's energy in terms of photon, I mean in the form of solar energy, radiated energy, and converting to a current, and that current with the help of inverter, we are converting to AC mode, and then throwing to DC. It's a very simple technology with the help of power electronic devices. That is the greatness of power electronic devices. With the help of that we can do. Even though power electronics can pollute, but we have to take the help of them. In the background, in the backdrop, they work a lot. So, but we do not have that much attitude to develop. Even the MNR is helping to give some subsidy to develop it. But as because the traditional power is available easily, and that is available in a bulk quantity, so who cares about renewable sources? So these are the things. So if grid discipline is not maintained, I have given an example in the form of a picture, another disastrous blackout. So important points of grid discipline. In grid discipline, what it states, the frequencies should be 49.5 to 52 hertz band. This should be the bandwidth. Even the ideal frequency is 50 hertz, but we never talk in terms of ideal frequency when you come to the real system. In terms of ground reality, you cannot maintain 50 hertz. 50 hertz maintenance is a very difficult job. The demand and the supply should be continuous, and at every instant it should match. That is not feasible in reality. So we put a band. Band means the band is that is a kind of an acceptable band. 49.5 to 50.2 is an acceptable band. We have to accept this band defined by the grid discipline peoples. By the this IEDC people, they have defined it should be 49.5, 50.2. Go beyond this collapse. Except under an emergency or to prevent an imminent damage to a costly equipment, no user shall suddenly reduce its generating unit output by more than 100 megawatt. For any reasons, no generating site, even CSC, they cannot reduce their generation 100 megawatt just like that without taking prior permission from IEDC. But there is some relaxation in northeastern region, 20 megawatt in case of any year, without prior intimation to and consent of the RLDC, particularly when the frequency is falling fast or is below 49.5 hertz. You have to do it. No user or any state electricity board shall cause a sudden variation in its load by more than 100 megawatt. Suddenly, you cannot take 100 megawatt load by any state electricity board, by any regional people, any regional power system people. Suddenly, they cannot load without prior intimation to and consent to the RLDC. That is very important issue. All generating units shall normally have their automatic voltage regulators. All generating units, they must have. In fact, this line should not be there. In fact, nowadays, all modern generators, more than 100 megawatt unit, they are having their really fast acting power electronic based AVR they are having. They are having, that I know, I'm sure about it. So all SEB distribution licenses, state utilities shall provide automatic under frequency and all DFDT relays. Earlier DFDT relays are not there. DFDT relays for load setting in their respective system to arrest frequency decline that could result in a collapse or disintegration of the grid. So from there, if you do not follow the grid discipline properly, the thing comes is the grid congestions. The grid will be congested. So what do we mean by the grid congestion problems? So electricity, what is grid congestion? In fact, grid congestion has come basically from the transmission congestion. All the things are coming from that very word deregulation. Once you start deregulation and we find that this generator A is cheaper than the generator B, and say generator is connected directly to the grid by a particular transmission line, so the customers will try to take the power from the cheapest alternator rather than the costlier, relatively costlier alternator. So almost all the power will try to, because in case of electrical engineering, electricity, we have to flow the power through conductors only. We need the physical conductor. It is not a electrical power, is not a signal. We cannot send energy from one point to other point without physical conductor. We need physical conductor. That is our unfortunate thing for us. Not like electronics engineering side, we can send signal from here to any other part of the planet or in different planet by signaling. They do not need any physical wire, physical conductor. But fortunately, we need the physical conductor. In case of a physical conductor, so the cheapest alternator will try to send the power through that transmission line, and that transmission line will be congested. So electricity traders and producers export excess electricity to other countries, or to procure the electricity they lack from other grids. A limited volume of electricity conforming to the system security criteria can be transmitted in a power grid. Transmission capacity of the network is limited. That is again true. When you design the transmission line, it is not that we design the transmission for infinite power handling capacity. It has got a limited capacity. So this can lead to congestions in the grid. Say a transmission line can 5,000 megawatt. If you go beyond 5,000, 5,500, it is okay. Even in 6,000, it is okay. But if you want to transmit power 7,000 megawatt, the line will be congested, or it may time come, there will be a thermal failure. So grid congestion problem is basically consumers may not get access to power because of the grid congestion problem, and grid stability and power system security problem. Basically, grid congestion or transmission congestions, you can understand simply by taking an illustration of the traffic congestions in the road. If there is huge traffic congestions of a particular path of the road in Calcutta, you won't be able to cross maybe from one point to other point. In normal time will take 15 minutes or 20 minutes time. During the congestion period, it might happen it will take 3 to 4 hours to go to that 15 minutes place. So congestion is a real issue, even in case of a transmission line, because these are the physical conductor, like the physical roads, but the cars are moving, the buses are moving. So grid congestion management is required. This is another point of research area. Actions are the key tool of the congestion management. So auctions are the key tool. If you can go for auctions in open economy, you go for the auctions mode. And if you go for auctions, it may be a tool. It's a very good tool. In fact, it's not a. There are in deregulation. Let me tell you, there are two tools. One tool is a technical tool, and another or the commercial tool. So both the tools, if you can club together, then only these things can be managed. So auctions is not the technical tool. It is a basically commercial tool, and that commercial tool is a very important tool, key tool of congestion management. World's worst power outage. I am trying to skip this slide, but anyway, let me read out, or let me. It happened. Let me. What? 2012. I told you 2012, 13 wrongly. 2012, 30 and 31st July it happened. 700 million people affected. 22 states in northeastern India. Causes yet to be determined accurately till today. 30th July failure according to IPPAI, no probably the full form, oversupply and not overdrawal. At 2:35 am, when grid collapse, line frequency at 50.4 Hz. July 31st failure overdrawal from a weak grid. They didn't able to maintain the frequency of the grid collapse. And 2001, say another example, northeastern India blackout was due to machinery. So what is the impact? Daily life badly hit. Train transportation suddenly stopped. School, colleges, public offices are shut down. The way we are in the pandemic side, this for 3 or 4 months, but there for 2.5 days. Huge economic losses. And the most important thing is a bad impression of India to the world. The world will be able to understand without power they can survive for another 2 or 3 days, no issue. The advanced countries, they cannot think 3 days continuously without power. So what are the prevention? States must declare to center how much power it requires next day. They failed it. They failed to take this grid discipline. Prevent power theft. That is one of the biggest issues in our country. And another important idea by which you can do it, islanding. Prevention, another important, if you can island it. And it happened in 2012. Part of this Calcutta was islanded immediately, and we had the power in the Howrah side. The south part of Howrah, we had the power in 2012 because of the clever the intelligent decision taken by the CSC people. See, immediately they islanded certain part of their distributing area, and we had the power. So real problem, what is the real problem? The real problem is power demand increasing and power supply is decreasing. So power deregulation in one word. Now let me go to the forecast. I don't want to expand my idea. Next I'll go to the forecasting. So power deregulation in one slide. So vertically integrated has become a vertically unbundled. Regulated cost-based has become unregulated price-based. So regulated cost-based, I can give a very good example of this. This is the onion. Sometimes you all know the price of onion becomes 100 rupees, 150 rupees, 200 rupees also. So whenever in a regulated market we purchase the onion, the price is 20 rupees, 22 rupees, 25 rupees. The thing when it become unregulated, it become 150 rupees per kg. It sometimes happens in onion commodity. We all have experienced. So regulated cost based will be unregulated price based. So from this, probably got the idea, there is a difference between cost and price. Generally, you use the term cost and price in a synonymous way, but it's not true. Cost is a different terminology, price is a different terminology altogether. Monopoly will become a competition, service will become a commodity. So it will no more service. You are not providing service to the consumers. Now they are customers. Consumer will become a customer. That is a commodity. The way you take the thing for the commodity seriously, you have to take this power as a commodity. The only difference between this commodity with the other commodity, onion and potato, you cannot store this commodity power. Whatever you generate, you have to throw to the grid, because this commodity, of course, it can be stored, but very small quantity. We cannot store 1 megawatt, 2 megawatt, 5 megawatt in a battery. That is the difficulty. So that is another research area. Japan has developed a battery which can store 1 megawatt, or we are going for a nowadays large dynamic type of capacitor we are using for. But that is in the tune of 1 megawatt, 1.5 megawatt maximum. It's not that we can store 1000 megawatt in a battery. It's not that. So that is an issue. And privilege now, earlier in a government service, it is a privilege. But in a deregulated, you can go for a choice. The way we can go for in aviation, whether I book the ticket of Indigo or SpiceJet or Vistera or Air India, depending, that is my choice. If Indigo can offer a cup of tea, I will choose. If any airline offer a cup of tea with biscuits, if any airline with the same price offers cup of tea and 2 biscuits, because I am getting 1 cup of tea with 2 biscuits on such a height, I'll definitely choose that aviation line, that height area, because I am getting 2 biscuits more in that height with the same price. So I am having the choice. I can go there. And engineers will become no more engineers. They must act as an engineer, plus manager, plus lawyer, plus economic. They have to play 4 roles. Nowadays, engineers are having 4 roles. They're not purely technical engineers. They have to understand a lot of legal aspects also. What to do, what not to do. What are the commercial aspects? So they have to have a little idea about the economics. They have to manage the situation if something goes wrong. During Amphan, there are no power for 3 or 4 days. So engineers started talking in a different way. These are the things, so they try to manage the situations. So engineers, they have studied only 1 paper in 3rd semester, 4th semester in a management paper, but they have become a manager now, working in a private sector. So they have to understand a lot of things, manager, engineer, so engineers will be defined. So these are the aspects will come, but so modern power system structure will be like this, and the post-electricity act 2003, it will be generation, then transmission and bulk supply, then distribution and renewable sources, and CCC is for nothing but the customers. Now let me go for a little bit about the forecasting of this. So let us go to the forecasting. So I am stopping here. I'm changing my slides to the forecasting. So up to this, any query or any questions from your end? I will put the questions at the fag end. What is your planning?
Hello, sir. This is Navamita.
Okay. You will put the question.
Hello, sir.
This
is Navamita.
Yeah, Navamita, tell me.
So the questions are being there posted, some of them are in the chat box of YouTube. So I think at the end, Kamalika madam will read out the questions.
Fine. Absolutely no problem. At the end, I will take those questions and I try to answer. This is all about the deregulations. And let me talk something about forecasting now. Give me a minute time and where is that forecasting slide? Yeah. Share it. These are the things. Okay, current scenario of power generation in India. Hopefully, I am not quite sure other speakers could have covered all these things. I am not quite sure, but maybe Mr. Sanjay Korchodri was there, he's from the power sector side. So current scenario of power generation, this much thermal, this much renewable, this much hydro, these are all statistical bets. So I am skipping this slide. Year-wise growth in the renewable energy sector. This is the year-wise growth. Till 18 it is there. Large hydros, remember, large hydros, small hydros, these are all coming under the renewable. These are not conventional type. Solar, wind, biomass, other, these are the things. And this is in the form of a pie chart. Pie chart you won't find interest. So these are all statistical values. So let me switch over. So global status of fossil fuel. This may be some general knowledge kind of information. Coal will last for 75 years, oil for another 35 years, natural gas for 50 years. Of course, these data are little approximate kind of thing. But the point is that, let me read out these last few sentences are very important. With the increase in population, the rate of consumption will vary. This will deplete the resource rapidly. Moreover, when reserve to one resource will get depleted. What I mean, if oil gets depleted fast, 35 years, then the rate of consumption coal will be much more faster. The other resources will be more burdened and they will be depleted further at the increased rate. So this is the issues are coming. So next question, here comes the sir. These are all standard sentences. In fact, nowadays you will find these sentences in environmental book of class 8 standard books, but let me read out. These are very, very important. For me, nowadays as I work in the green energy side, almost 10 million people in the world desire stable climate, stable health, and stable economy. So stable climate, I should not explain because the climate was deteriorated like anything, but everything had always the plus side, the advantage side. Even though we are suffering from COVID-19 or coronavirus, the plus side of this coronavirus is that a lot of WhatsApp messages and pictures I'm getting, we can see the peak of the Himalaya from my house. Because the pollution level has gone so down, we can see everything from my flesh. So that's the advantage of this COVID-19. So the stable climate, stable health. Now we are in unstable condition till the vaccine comes. So we all need stable health and stable economy. Even the economy nowadays is disturbed like anything. So everything is now disturbed because of this extraordinary situation, but we need everything in a stable form. So then the sun plays an important role. The next point is that we cannot wait up to the last drop of oil. If oil is a finite source, it will end. So if it ends at all, we cannot wait up to the last drop of oil or last ton of coal or last kilogram of uranium. We have to go for a paradigm shift in clean energy production because time is very, very tight. Only 35 years or 40 years. After that, all the conventional energy will be exhausted. So we want desperately to stop the climate change. And I have given an account. 1,74,000 trillion watts. See this figure. See the digits. 1,74,000 trillion watts are falling from the sky at any moment on the Earth's surface. If I tell in other way around, what energy we can harness from the sun in 1 hour. Harnessing of solar energy in the form of photovoltaic mode. Forget about thermal mode. In 1 hour, we can manage this whole planet for the whole year. So 1 hour harnessing solar energy can manage this total planet for whole year. But what we are doing? And payback time is also gradually reducing day by day because of advanced research in lot of advanced electronics equipment, lot of advanced algorithm and programs are coming. So payback time is very, very less. In fact, whether you know or do not know, I do not know, the price of the conventional power's price is more now than the price of the non-conventional energy. If you see the break-even point, the price of that solar energy has come down. But the only thing is this. So the deployment of solar-based electricity generation, especially in the form of photovoltaic, because we are habituated to the photovoltaic, we do not have that much sun, we cannot go for the thermal, has increased markedly in the recent years due to a wide range of factors, including concerns about greenhouse gas emission, supportive government policy. Government is also supportive in nature and lower equipment cost. Still a number of challenges remain for reliable, efficient integration of solar energy. Chief among them will be developing new tools and practices that manage the variability and uncertainty of the solar power. That is the disadvantage. That I am skipping. These are the things I have written in a different style and different language. But basically, hence, in order to accommodate the intermittent renewable sources of generation into the grid and grid security. Let me tell you regarding this slides 1 or 2 points. Nowadays, we are all trying to make our traditional grid, classical grid, into a smart grid. But apart from that, smart grid means within that grid, we are adding information and computer technology, ICT we are adding. But at the same time, our another objective is there, we are going to make this grid green also. So nowadays we are calling going green with the grid greening. So instead of smart grid, instead of classical grid, now I am giving a term, grid greening terminology I am using. We want to make the grid green. And if you want to make the grid green means we have to penetrate more non-conventional energy, more solar energy, more wind energy rather than the conventional energy. Then the color of the grid will be green. And that's why forecasting for this. But the point is that this greening grid is not a easy task the way I am presenting here. So forecasting becomes essential for the grid operator to plan for balance of the grid. Reliability is very, very important aspect. Forecasting this is done for multiple time horizons. So with renewable energies, so these are the things. Okay, I'm going. So forecasting of the, so what will forecast? So we'll forecast, as far as the solar photovoltaic is concerned, we'll forecast two things. Total solar irradiance, that is the TSI, and another one is the global horizontal irradiance. These two parameters you have to define for forecasting the solar energy. Let me tell you again. Total solar irradiance and global horizontal irradiance. These two irradiance we have to prescribe. And if you can prescribe in a very accurate way, then only able to predict the load for predict the power generation, because these irradiance finally you have to convert to power, electrical. This irradiance does not matter much to us. Irradiance is always here. 300 years back, the sun used to fall on the earth surface and irradiance was here. But technology is now available. Our consciousness has increased like anything. So these irradiance finally have to convert to electrical power, and that power we have to add to the grid such that the price of the power will come down and we will able to reduce the green emission gases also. Greenhouse gases will able to reduce. So forecasting of the irradiance at the site of the solar plant and conversion of the irradiance forecast to power forecast. And again, whatever the irradiance you'll get on the earth surface, we cannot convert the whole amount of irradiance to the power forecast. Certain loss will be there in the solar panels. So those are the things to be properly calculated, and for that reason we need a lot of things. Sample calculation of irradiance are not going. Irradiance is defined by radiated power per unit area, and it comes in the tune of 1367 watt per meter square in some part of the earth surface, but in some part of the earth surface comes in the tune of 750, 800. So if you go for averaging, it comes in the tune of 1000 watt per meter square, and this 1000 watt per meter square is sometimes known as one sun. So unit of irradiance is one sun, or you can talk in terms of 1000 watt per meter square. One sun is nothing but 1000 watt per meter square anyway. And if we calculate the total irradiance under ideal condition, you need not calculate, my calculation is there. It is coming as 175 billion gigawatt. Imagine how much power we can convert this in every hour. Every hour 175 million gigawatt we can generate for this planet. So anyway, therefore solar forecasting requires the blending of knowledge from meteorological perspective, because we have to go for the cloud imaging, we have to take the data from the meteorological thing, because these are the things, and understanding of the predictive modeling technique is required. So in case of this predictive or forecasting modeling, we are having three types of things are there. One is statistical modeling, and that gives a very good, because whatever the model we follow, whether it is statistical method, under the statistical method that artificial neural network comes also, whether it is a machine learning method or whether it is an ensemble method. Ensemble method means in case of a machine learning method, we go for a single layer kind of data. But in case of an ensemble method, we can go for multi-layer data for analyzing. And in case of ensemble type of predictive modeling, we can predict more accurately. But whatever the model stands, whatever the model speaks, we cannot predict 100% accuracy to the nature. Prediction nature 100% is very difficult. It happened. The accuracy model nowadays, imagine They told that Amphan will come that day it is come. They told that it will come in the tune of 5 p.m. It came around 5:15, 5:20. Accuracy fails. But it came. Instead of 5 p.m., it came 5:15. They told that it will be lasting for 4.5 hours, 5 hours. Okay, it lasted for 3.5 hours. So prediction was all right, but not up to 100% accuracy. 100% accuracy about that nature is very difficult. Only God can speak about it. No human being can do that. So you have to choose a model in such a way that statistical method, artificial neural networking, machine learning scheme with a multi-layer, ensemble method, and if you club together, if you combine together and go for a hybrid model, it can give a better result. And I'm not sure how they have calculated this kind of storm, Amphan, and all that and all that. The next storm in our country will come is known as speed, Goti. They have given the name Goti. So the next storm, whatever you will face in India next, I do not know when you will face. They have already dictated the name. The name is Goti, speed. And the name is given by the country Bangladesh. They have given the name. So that they have predicted. So imagine how the prediction and forecasting in nowadays is working. They told and it happened. It happened. Just with a little variation, 1 hour and 1.5 hour variation, but it happened. It happened. And we all were prepared for that. But imagine if the thing could have happened 30 years back, how will remove the Sundarban people from that side to the safe zone? Because that time the modeling was not available, satellite was not available, technology was not available, the computer is not available, information technology is not available, so they could have died. But because of this advancement of the technology, computer, the smart technology, the information technology, at least 4 or 5 days back, we had a prior idea, this might come, and we have removed the people from that side to this side. That at least we could have done it. So that's the advantage of this kind of prediction, and this prediction will equally applicable for our solar forecasting. So before solar forecasting, let me tell you a very interesting fact. If you are really up to date, this year, because of this extraordinary situation and pandemic situation, higher secondary board could not able to take the 2 or 3 papers. ICSE board class 10 and 12, they could not able to finish their whole exams, all the papers. But they predicted a model. And if you go through the model, they have brilliantly designed. In fact, one my relative is with me and I have calculated his mark on the basis of that model, and that result will be coming 15 July. I have calculated the moment I got their formula with the predictions and all that, I have calculated. They have brilliantly designed that model, and that's why the result will come on 14th or 15th July, but I have calculated the result of my relative, what result is going to get. And that will be little fluctuation. Maybe the fluctuation will be in the order of 1 to 2%, but the result is in my head because they have already predicted model what paper they are not going to take. That's a beautiful model, and that is model. Brilliantly they have designed, and hopefully you have got that model. Those who have been the kids writing that the higher secondary or this for ICSE, CBSE boards, with the help of Supreme Court, they have given a verdict. They have developed a model, beautiful forecasting model, and the thing will happen like this. It's a brilliant model. Accepted. So this is the model you can apply for solar forecasting also. So these are the all fundamental slides. I'm not going to. So in case of, let me talk about a time series. Time series is nothing but our forecasting data or the historical data for solar system is basically time series. It is a time dependent parameter. So this is all forecasting model, the basic model. I'm not going to talk about this model. The average model, the moving average model, the K moving average model, the weighted average model, and all that. So these are the different models are available. These are all basic models for forecasting that you know from the very basic ideas of. I am explaining now statistical model that you know. So the level model that I'm not going to, trend model. I am coming slowly. Exponential smoothing model for level data. This is another kind of model. If the data shows some consistency, see 25, 32, 24, 28, 26, 27. If you go for average, say simple average, arithmetic mean what you have learned, it will be coming in the tune of some, let me see the result, what is the result? It will be coming in the tune of, it will be coming in the tune of, what is that size? No, let me go back. I want to go back. Let me see the result, yes. The result is 26.94. That is the forecasting model F7, 7th period. You see, there are 6 data are there in the 7th model. In the F7 is my forecasting value, and this is come as 26.94. With the help of exponential smoothing model. So exponential smoothing model, the technique is F means forecasting, Ft plus 1 is equal to alpha dt plus 1 minus alpha into Ft, forecasting. So every forecasted model has the two components, always. You try to remember. In statistical model, in every statistical model, there are two components. One component is the previous updated or iterated data, and the second one is the last forecasted value. So if last forecasted value is available in your hand, and the iterative data or the iterative demand data is available hand in the historical value, we can calculate for the next forecasted value. So we are having 6 data for 6 years. So this is for year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, year 6. So for year 7, even if F7 means F6 plus 1, it will become alpha D6 plus 1 minus alpha into F6. F6 is known to us, D6 is known to us, data 6, and I will be able to calculate. And this is the formula I have adopted. And once I explain this formula in your institution, I delivered lecture on this exponential model. So I am trying to skip this one. So let me go to the another kind of model, that is another type of model where the data, now have a look. This data is, this the left side data is showing some kind of consistency. I mean, if you go for average, the average value will be in between 25 to 27. But if we look at the right hand side data, where I have mentioned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here, the data is showing some increasing in order. The data is progressively increasing. 26, 28, 29, 31, 32, 35. What does it mean? If we go for a simple average, the result will come between 26 and 35. It never happens. If a boy of 5 or 6 standard student, if you ask, in the first year the value is 26 solar irradiance, in the 6th year is 35 solar irradiance, what will be the solar irradiance on 7th year? You should not answer below 35. You should say, sir, this is the value increasing in order, so it should be more than 35. So whatever the models we have followed earlier, the simple exponential tailing, K point moving average, or simple average, or weighted K point moving average, all the averages will not work at all. So you have to go for a kind of model that is a line fitting. And this probably, in statistical analysis is called a regression model. Since the line is a straight line, it is called a linear regression model. What do you do? So you have to take the data in the dependent axis, I mean the y-axis. This is the demand of the data. I have plot the times in the time axis, I mean the independent axis, x-axis, I plot the curve. But plotting a curve is a very interesting issue in case of forecasting. It is not that the points I have given to a class 10 standard boy, I have given the time data, I have given the data, and I am asking you 5 marks are there in the question and plot the graph. That kind of plotting is not there. So this plotting in a statistical graph plotting is little different. The question is how to plot this data. How to plot? The answer is whether I will connect all these points the way the points are available, or whether we will choose maximum number of points through which this graph is, the line is going, or the third option, we will put the graph in such, because you have to bring the accuracy in your prediction, or you have to put the curve in such a fashion that most of the points will be closer to that drawn curve or drawn line. If the curve is a non-linear, it's a non-linear regression. There is a little difficulty that we are not going. We are going for a straight line curve. Now, why I have taken this straight line? Let me explain you here. In a solar irradiance, the solar irradiance again depends on a lot of factors. Hopefully, you know. It depends on pressure. It depends on relative humidity. It depends on perceptibility. I mean, what are the water droplets in the air? It depends on the pollution factor. It depends on the climatic condition and depends on the temperature. And you know the relations, the temperatures and all that, they are directly related to the solar irradiance. In any particular place, if temperature is more, the solar irradiance is more. You can generate more photon particles from that panel. But the other factor like the perceptibility, the water particles inside the atmosphere, the relative humidity, don't get confused. Relative humidity and water droplets present in the atmosphere are entirely different terms. When I deliver the lecture, the students get confused. What is the basic difference between both? Are not same. There is a little difference. The pollution factor, the dust and dirt inside the air, those are the factors are directly related to the irradiance. In my case, what I have considered for predicting this thing, even though I have taken a mathematical model, but I have taken only the heat energy, where the solar energy is directly proportional to the heat energy. If heat energy is more, then this will be more, and I will get a straight line. Other parameters I am not considering. I am not considering relative humidity. Then I cannot plot with the help of a linear regression model. I have to go for a non-linear regression technique, and it is little complicated. This graph will be something different. So I am considering for the time being, okay, the solar irradiance is directly proportional to the heat, and the line will be a straight line with a proportional curve. And now after drawing this curve, we'll get some error because we'll choose the last option, third option. In third option, I told we'll put a curve in such a point, in such a fashion, all the points will be more closer to that line. So I have drawn the curve from the beginning point with this data. It has gone through that point, but here the point which is lying above the line, now I am considering this point is here, so there is an error, and this error is a positive error. Let us consider this is a positive error, and this error let us consider in the topmost error, let us consider is a negative error. But if you are fortunate enough, if there are in 1 lakh data, if 50,000 data are positive and 50,000 data are negative, then it will be a zero error, because all will nullify each other. But it never happens in practice. So what we do, instead of going this, we go with a error square of sum. Error sum of square is not the correct English. Error of sum of squares we go. So this error will squaring it, this error is squaring it, we'll adding it everything. Then we'll take the minimizations of this thing, and that is the error sum of square, not sum of square of errors we'll take, and this. So what is the error? So this is the point, the leftmost curve. If we see, there is a positive error. So the positive error is nothing but y is the ordinate, y minus a minus bt is the positive error et. What do you mean by the lower suffix t? T is nothing but at that time period. At that time period, say this is the error. But we have to go for summation of this error. So let us go for the summation of this error and the square of the summation. So yt minus a minus bt whole square is equal to t square, and that we have to minimize. If we can minimize, then it is a curve fitting technique. That's a very fittest curve, and on the basis of that fittest curve, if you go for a F7 prediction, forecasting for 7 period, you will get accurate value if you can curve the fit very accurately. So you have to minimize it. So how to do the minimization, and what are the variables here? So in this expression, the variables a and bt. Where you are choosing the first point, the level, and where you are choosing the b is nothing but the slope. Y is equal to mx plus c, you know, c is the intercept part, that is the data, and what is m? M is nothing but the gradient or the slope. So here b is the slope and a is the intercept, so the data value. So we have to control the data and the slope in every instant. In every instant we have to update in such a fashion the curve will be this line, straight line. If we consider the temperature only, it will ideally perfect straight line, and on the basis of that, if you go for F7, it will be a very good result. So we are trying to minimize it. This is mathematics, and hopefully able to understand the partial differentiation. The first line I have differentiate partially with the help of a variable. So 2 will come on the top. If you go for partial derivative of minus a, minus 1 will come, so minus. And once the right hand side in, you know, if you go for the minimization technique, the right hand side is always 0 for the first order derivative. Once you put the right hand side 0, minus and 2 value becomes irrelevant. Similarly, you go for the partial derivative of first order with respect to b variable, the thing is coming. And if you write it, I'm a bit fast possibly because time is limited, that's why I'm going a little bit fast, and hope you are able to understand this mathematics. So if we write these things, minus 2, it becomes irrelevant now. So now it becomes 0. So capital sigma summation is equal to capital sigma is nothing but na plus b capital sigma t, and capital sigma yt is nothing but a capital sigma t plus b capital sigma t square. These are the things have simple calculated. Yt is what is yt? These are the data for the different times. What is t? T is the time period for first year, second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year, sixth year. Say sixth year is 2020. We want to predict the solar irradiance for the month of May in 2021. I have multiplied y into t, 26 into 1, 28 into 2, 29 into 3. Then I have added up because the summation sign is here. I have added up the t square because in that formula, if I go back to this, you see t square is a summation t square I have calculated, summation t I have calculated. and NA I have calculated. These are the things. Summation YT I have calculated also. So these are the things I have calculated. If I calculated all these value, so this is two equations in terms of A and B. And if you get two equations with two unknowns, we are able to calculate A and B. Once you can calculate the value of A and B, you check for the F7. What is F7? The F7 from this formula is nothing but A plus 7B. I told that any forecasting is having always two components, A plus 7B. So A we already got from our that car fitting technique 24.2667, and B is nothing but 1.6857. So F7 is 36.007. So the seventh period 2021 has not yet come. It will take another almost 10 or 11 months to come, the month of May, and hopefully we'll get the vaccine during that span. So that time we can predict the radiation if we consider only the temperature parameter will be 36.066. But let me tell you, this prediction is not the accurate one. Why? Let me come to the next slide. We have considered on the basis of that, in everywhere the slope is same. If we consider it as a straight line at all, the slope or the gradient of the straight line is constantly uniform throughout this line. But it never happens so in case of a prediction. So what happens? We want to change the slope and the level of every data set at every moment. And this is suggested by the Holts model. And after Holts model, I'll stop this lecture. Hopefully the time will be up. Yeah. So I'll explain this whole model very fast. This is the Holts model. If you can work for research in the solar forecasting model, you can take the help of exponential technique and Holts models and all that. These are all beautiful models you can apply. You can develop the program algorithm by MATLAB and all that. You can apply Holts model. This plays a very important role in defining or predicting this. So what is Holts model? Holts model, let me explain in a few seconds or few minutes. AP is always forecasting. ATBT, A is the data level, demand data. What is demand data? Demand data of the last. We are predicting for the next year. So AT is nothing but the demand data for 2020. What is BT? BT is the slope for this year only, not for 2019, not for 2018. So we are having the data from 2014. So what we will do, we will update the level data, demand data of 2014, and we will update the slope of 2014. So we will get the updated value for 2015. Once we come to 2015, we will update the data of 2015 for the demand data as well as for the slope. Every year we will update. We will go for the iterative method. And finally come to 2020, we will get all updated value. And that updated value we will use for 2021, and we will get a much more accurate result, I tell you. So the example, I have taken that 6 data. Alpha is a smoothing constant, I have considered as 0.2. Beta I have considered, there are huge logic why I have chosen 0.2 and 0.3. Once I explained why I have considered 0.2 in your institution. A1, D1, the first demand value for 2014 I have considered 26, and B1 is the approximate, because the first slope we do not know, so you have to go for approximation. So that we have, that slope is nothing but, we know the definition of a slope, difference of y coordinate divided by difference of x coordinate. That is the basic fundamental definition of slope that I have used, and P1 has come as 1.8. So if we are having the data for 2014, we can conclude or we can forecast for 2015 as forecasting 27.8. So we have got the forecasted value is 27.8 for 2015. You see, very interesting idea. If you have a keen look, 27.8 is the forecasted data, but the measured data is 28. See how much close it is. This time for ICSE and ISC and CBSE board, the way they have developed formula, and whatever I have calculated for my relative, it will be approximately almost equal when the result will come out. I told all my relatives. Maybe there will be 1% variation. Check that very. This is the powerfulness of the forecasting. F2 is 27.8, and actually in measurement they got with help of pyrometer 28. Now let us again go for the third measurement for 2, where we know the data. So A2 we can calculate alpha D2 plus 1 minus alpha into A1 plus B1. I told that in every model there is an exponential model with 2 variations. One is the alpha, another one is the 1 alpha, so that both will be 1, because the membership function cannot more than 1. If we calculate, it has come 27.84 A2, and B2 we check. B2 with the help of this formula, beta into A2 minus A1. This is the formula available in Holts model. It come 1.82. So it has come as 27.8. Check. 27.8. Then it has come 29.652. After updating this data and try to remember 29.652 and check the original data. Check the original data 29. The measured data is 29 and calculate data is 29.6, almost equal. If you cannot measure the data, see, in this model, Holts model, we have calculated by using the formula 31.294 and let us verify. It was 39. Imagine. Then check the next data is 32 and let us check. It is 32.999. The calculated forecasted value is 32.99 using Holts model, but in measurement it has come. These are all data we know, we have measured it. The next data is 35, we have calculated 34.49. So if our calculated data comes almost with the same of the measurement data, so if we measure the forecasted data for the 7th period, I mean for 2021, for 2021, if you measure the irradiance value, only considering the temperature, you do not consider the others. And finally, when May 2021 will come, use the equipments and measure the irradiance, you'll find a difference of 0.001 or in terms of percentage, maybe 2 to 3% deviations will come. So if that forecasting comes into play, even though the slide is thank you, I'm not going to give a thank you just now. I'll take another 3 or 4 minutes time. So you just imagine the forecasted value and the measured value, and the measured value will do in 2021 in the month of May is almost equal. But it will help us. We can predict the load forecasting with the help of the solar forecasting. We can control our conventional energy, because this energy you can control, I told you, with the help of a governor. With the help of excitation, we can control the voltage profile in the alternator side. Even though alternator, we are talking in such a way that it is a very simple phenomena. Alternator itself is a very, very complex phenomena. Governor itself is a very complex phenomena. That's why you go for AGC and all that, automatic governor control. Even though you consider for the timing it is simple, we can control excitation with the help of power electronics, the static control devices. So, with the help of all these things, we can control this conventional energy, because this energy you cannot control. Rather, you can predict this amount of energy coming from the solar panel, this amount of energy will control from the conventional side, such that we can maintain the grid frequency at per the IEGC, I mean from 49.5 to 50.2, and there is no grid failure. Otherwise, what will happen? If we cannot predict the solar energy, just like that solar energy will come and will throw to the grid and is directly connected to through the inverter. We throw the solar energy, you cannot control the conventional energy. The frequency fluctuations is there, and the reliability grid will be a major concern, will be a major issue nowadays. And that's why we are going for the solar forecasting. And my lecture only based on this, the linear regression, because I have considered the only temperature part, not the other parts of the solar things. But there are a lot of other models are available. Winter's model, seasonality index, a lot of statistical models are there. I told you, even though nowadays you're talking with the smart grid and smart sensors and all that, everything is okay. These are the nowadays the order of the day. We have to accept all these things very sincerely. We cannot deny all these things. But at the same time, I told you, systems should be there in our heart. Without considering the power system, alternator, transmission line, transformer, and all that, just we have added computer and information technology, that grid cannot be a smart one. Similarly, ignoring the statistical idea, I'll only simply employ the machine learning technique. That's a new buzzword has come in the computer side. The computer people are talking about machine learning technology and all that. So machine learning and all these things will not able to bring a change in the grid coding and grid disciplines and all that. So you have to understand the statistical method very, very clearly. You have to understand the theoretical part of that machine transmission line very, very clearly. Then only you can employ your other ensemble or machine learning technique, because the machine learning and everything comes from the computer side. Let me tell you very, very frankly, we from Indian side, we study only electrical engineering. We do not have that much attention nowadays. In fact, the curriculum are designed in a different way. Lot of information technology subjects are added. But in earlier, the subject was completely concentrated on electrical engineering. So the electrical engineer, if they want to jump to computer engineering, they have to study a lot. So machine learning techniques are all from the computer side. We have to learn a lot from that side. And we can club together this machine learning knowledge, the statistical methods technology, and your core subjects knowledge. It is very good, I tell you, forecast for the 2021, 2022 at that, and is able to maintain the great discipline. And this is all about my lecture. So I can take few questions because I'm continuously talking. So this is my end, and let me go to the last slide. Thank you for your patient hearing. So any questions from your end?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome.
I would request Kamalika madam.
More than 1 year, hour?
More than 1
Yes,
hour,
madam.
sir.
hour.
Kamalika madam, please. Yes, sir. Kamalika madam, please share the
Yes, madam.
questions.
Yes,
Yes.
madam. Yes, madam. So, yes, sir. There's a question. Yes, sir. First question.
Yeah.
What are the hindrance of power deregulation?
Can you repeat this question because your voice is breaking? If you just
Yes.
repeat the question, okay, repeat the question.
Yes. What are the hindrance of
What are the-
power deregulation? Hindrance. What are the hindrance?
What are
HINDRANC?
Okay, that's a very good question. Very good question. The same question comes in my back of my mind at this age also. At the age of 60. The hindrance of this deregulation is this. The thing is that privatization is not deregulation. Let me tell you, say, if there is a Air India, let me explain from air sector so that you can able to understand this thing and you can incorporate this idea in power sector also. Say Air India is a government sector in airlines, in aviation sector that you know. If only Indigo comes, forget about Vistara, Go Air, Air Asia, other lines. So there are two companies. What are the companies? One is Air India government and another one is a private, that is Indigo. If you find that the service of Indigo is better than Air India, all the consumers or all the customers go to Indigo. And once Indigo thinks all the customers are inclined to me, he will go on increasing the price. Instead of 3,300 for flying from Calcutta to Delhi, he will make 7,300. Because he's the only private organizations are doing this business and is giving a lot of advantages, but is not there in government sector. Government sector, they are supposed to depart the flight at 10 o'clock. They are departing their flights at 12 o'clock. No time frame. But Indigo at 9:55, at SURF, they are leaving 9. So they bring a lot of advantages. But remember, instead of Indigo, there are Air Asia, Go Air, Vistara, SpiceJet, other competitions are come, then Indigo cannot change his price just like that because he has to think for the other sectors. So the hindrance in electricity sector is this: in a particular state, you have to have number of competitors. Like one competitor might be CSC, another competitor some X, another competitor will come Y, another competitor will come Adani, another competitor will come Ambani, another competitor will come. If there are 4 or 5 competitors are there, then all the players will think before increasing their price. They can go for deregulation. So privatization is there in our state, in other states also there. Adani started doing with their private business with power. Ambani has also started doing business and all that. They're all giants in these fields. But the hindrance is installing a power station is not a matter of joke. I told you in the beginning, power system is a complex factor. It is not that purchasing few planes and operating from this sector to that sector, considering some protocols with the some Air India sectors or with the government emissions. It's not that. Installing a power plant is a huge affair in terms of money, in terms of complexity. So these are the biggest hindrance. And another, whether you are recording or not, that I do not know. It should not come in the form of a record. The point is that earlier, whenever we used to started this power sector, what happens now? We used to take loan from the foreign countries, from the advanced countries, those who can give loan. That is called foreign direct investment, FDI. But within few years, the foreign peoples got to know these Indian people, they know how to take the loan, but they do not know how to repay the loan. So they started giving loans. So there is another issue. Third issue, then what happened? We tried and begged from our NRI people. Yeah, please give few crores rupees so that you can go for a power plant. Then NRI people, they used to give loan because they are from India. They're having certain amount of sympathy to India. They started giving loans. But after a few years again, they got giving loans to Indian people is very bad. They will not pay back. They will not repay the amount. So what happened? They started giving loan. Instead of that, if you go to USA, they will give a good treatment. If you go to NRI people in USA, they will take you to Statue of Liberty. They will show this is liberty. These are the advanced country. These are the condition of the road. I am having 2 cars, 1 Mercedes and 1 BMW. They will show you everything. But the moment you will go for money, they will not give you the money. So the question is economic point of view. We are having limited resources, not from the technical point of view, from financial point of view, such that in a particular state, we cannot go for 4 or 5 players in a electricity sector. And once we can go for 4 or 5 electricity players in a particular area, in a particular region, we can go for deregulation. What is happening in other countries, European countries, the way you do in a mobile sector. If I am not satisfied with BSNL, I can go to Vodafone. If I am not satisfied with Vodafone, I can go to Airtel. If I am not satisfied with this, I will go. If that power sector cannot survive, it will be like a volatile matter. It will go out like Aircel or it will club with someone else. So that is a thing. You have to be a number of players, then you are having a choice. If you do not have number of choices, you cannot go for deregulation. And that choice is not like communication sector, not like air sector. There is a huge involvement is there. If you want to install a thermal power station or a solar power station, you need lakhs crores. At least 1 lakh crores is required to install a power station. Who will give you this money? So the deregulation is the biggest hindrance in our country, and I hope with a lot of example from air sector, from communication sector, I gave an example, and you got the idea. Any questions from your side? But this answer.
Yes, sir. Another question.
This answer from I don't want to tell anybody else why they are not giving loan the foreigner people. That I don't want to be.
Okay, sir.
This is the intent.
Another question.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Can you show?
Please explain global, horizontal.
Huh?
Please explain global horizontal irradiance.
Yes. Global horizontal irradiance, I am explaining, but I am quite sure you have studied in your class 8 standard geography book, the zenith angle. And sometimes in lot of advanced school like South Point and all that, they go for a geography practical. During the noon hour, they go and tell their students, calculate the zenith angle. And what they take the geometry box with them. With the help of the geometry box, with the help of that protector and scale, you can measure the zenith angle. So it has come from the concept of zenith angle. Because you know what is zenith angle. Hopefully, I feel you. I'm not going to explain. It will take huge amount of time. Once you know the zenith angle, this zenith angle is continuously changing from sunrise to sunset. Once the zenith angle is changing, the global horizontal irradiance GHI is continuously changing. That depends on that angle, zenith angle. So zenith angle is changing. The amount of that value is changing, the surface is changing, and the value of that surface is changing, so irradiance is changing. That is all about. There is amount of sunfall, that's all. And that we can calculate on the basis of zenith angle. This is GHI. And that GHI, you aren't able to measure for a surface. As a human being, you cannot able to measure. That information will come from the satellite. That GHI will get from that one, the GHI data. You cannot measure the Earth surface area, calculating that the zenith angle and all that. That data you will get from satellite, take the data from your computer and apply. And the equipments are there which can give this data also. The data collecting devices are there in the instrument they can do it. So this is all about GHI. GHI is kind of a measurement.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Are there any more questions, madam?
No, madam. No, madam.
Okay. Sir, thank you, sir. On behalf of
Hearing.
on behalf Electrical Engineering Department of Narula Institute of Technology, I offer you a token of appreciation which I am sharing here, the video, sir. Kindly accept, sir, if you can, tell them if it is visible to you, sir. Is it visible to you, sir? Hello, sir, is it visible?
Hello, yes, I can see.
Okay. Okay, sir, so this is a small token of appreciation
Oh, thank
from our
you so
end,
much.
and I will mail the same to you. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank
And
you.
I convey my sincere thanks. Today is the final day of the program, and I convey my sincere thanks to the entire organizing team of my department and especially the coordinators, Mr. Pallab Dotto, Mr. Sudhanshu Sarkar, Mr. Orkendra Mitro, okay, who have been there and they have designed all these brochure and wonderful certificates. And I would thank my senior professors, Professor A.C. Ponar, Professor Anand Chakraborty for their valuable advice, and of course our principal madam and honorable register madam for their continuous encouragement. I would also thank the participants without whom this program would not have been possible. So I would request once again, our senior professors are already there. I would request our controller sir, Professor Aman Chakraborty, to say a few words. So I would take a just moment, okay, sir? You have time?
Oh, sure. I'm hearing.
Yes, sir. Okay,
I am
okay.
here. I'm here.
I would request our Professor Amlan sir to say a few words. Sir, please.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes. So it's a pleasure
Show me
to attend the lecture of Professor Chandan Kumar Chando. I think the depth of his knowledge in irradiation forecasting is, surprised us. And really, the thing is that this is an area which is at the forefront of research, and the research for prediction of solar irradiation and the wind velocity at the various latitudes and longitudes of the Earth's surface. That is going to be the determining factor for the entire power grid of large countries. So thank you for Professor Chando for introducing us to your this depth of knowledge in this
No.
everything.
Thank you, Professor Chakraborty. Thank you.
Really, it shows the years of hard work that you have put and the expertise that you have gained in such a niche area. I think we are all indebted to you for this sharing your knowledge in this FDP program. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Once again, I would request. Thank you, sir. I would request our Dean R&D as well as Professor of our department, Professor Ponar, to say a few words. Sir, are you there? Sir, are you there? Hello. I think sir is muted. Hello, sir, are you there? Yes. Hello.
He has joined.
Okay, sir. Sir, you are requested to say a few words. Ponar, sir.
Yes, thank you, Professor C.K. Chandra. Thank you to others attending to the patient for listening of the very prestigious and very energetic lecture delivered by the CKC. Professor CKC has given the lecture on deregulations, but still in Calcutta sites, not there should be deregulation. If the deregulation will be adapted, then beneficial of the people and so on. So his vast knowledge regarding deregulation, regarding forecasting frequency response and with some examples. That should be very beneficial to our faculties as well as of the students, senior students attending to attending to hear his lectures. So I hope about 1.5 hours. He has the very patient to give the continuously lecture on deep knowledge, throwing some deep knowledge on power system different with different various aspects. I thank you all, Professor CKC, and also head of the department, Professor Amlan sir, all the faculties attending to the lectures as well as of the others, and thank you all. I also
Thank you, Professor Konar. Thank you so much.
Yes.
My sincere thanks to all of you.
Thank you, sir. I would request sir to stay with us for a few more moments because I think Dr. Paul is there, Dr. Bishaljit Paul. Sir, would you like to say some words to sir?
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was a very excellent presentation, and we are very much indebted to you. We have heard your talk, and it was a very nice presentation. We have gained a sufficient amount of knowledge about the advancement of the power system. Thank you for all the participants. Thanks to our HODs, Madam, Konar sir, Dean, and Professor Amlan Chakraborty, Controller of Exam, for having this short of presentation. It was a very nice presentation from your side. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Paul. Thank you.
And
Thank
sir,
you.
one thing I would like to say that I had been the student of Professor Chandra since my graduation. So my acquaintance with Professor Chandra is from 1998. So
That's true.
how many years? Many years we can calculate. So, and since 1998 onwards, I mean I have known him, and whenever I have asked for any help to him, he has always been there, and that is my biggest achievement, I would say.
No, it is my pleasure. Amit, you are my student, and we are student, and it is my pleasure whenever you invite.
I also say something about that. Professor CKC is my very close friends and colleague. Whenever we have to go to any places, as USA, United Kingdom, Paris, Delhi, any places, we have to accompany. And he also he can cook very nice in Bangladesh. With some sort of practices, he continue to cook the meat. We are the helping hand of him.
So, I love cooking.
So we have to very much enjoyment with Professor CKC. CKC is very, as well as my colleague, and very close my friend. Thank you, yes, Professor CKC.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
Thank you.
Yes, I mean, I am also, that is my another advantage, that one of my professors, Professor Konar, is already in my department because I had been also.
Yes, that is true, absolutely.
So they are the pillars of this department, I should say, Professor Chakraborty and Professor Konar, because they had always been there to provide me advice in each of my activities.
He's a very experienced and knowledgeable man.
Yes. So I convey my sincere thanks once again. So I hope that in future programs also I would invite you and you make some time for us.
Okay, welcome.
Okay. So with the permission of all, I'm closing the session and this entire FDP program. It had been a wonderful experience, and the lecture that you had given today was so elaborative and informative that it was a great achievement for us. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you all. Thank you
Oh,
so much.
good day. Good day to all here and to all the participants. Okay. Good day.